Have you ever lain down on a quiet night, only to find that your mind refuses to rest? The clock ticks gently. The room is peaceful, yet inside there are whispers. If only I had. How will my health be? Will tomorrow be all right? Many people believe that as we grow older, the mind naturally becomes still. But sometimes a heart that has lived long carries more memories, more worries, and quiet sorrows that never had a chance to be spoken. And that is completely human. Not because we have grown weaker, but because we have lived enough to understand the value of what has been lost, the people who have gone, and every fragile breath that still remains. Yet there is a gentle truth. Peace does not fade with time. It simply waits for us to learn how to return to it. Yet there is a gentle truth. Peace does not fade with time. It simply waits for us to learn how to return to it. In this video, we will softly walk through 6 Buddhist teachings to release heavy thoughts, breathe more gently, smile more kindly, and rediscover the still sky within. And if you are awake right now, lying beside your worries, stay. The dawn inside your heart is already rising. Teaching 1, return to the present moment. As we grow older, we often believe the mind will naturally settle, yet many times it becomes even more active. It jumps from old memories to future worries, like a restless monkey leaping from branch to branch, clinging to the past and grasping for the future. Overthinking does not mean we are weak. It happens because we have lived long enough to know what is precious and what can be lost. The mind tries to protect us, so it holds on to what was and fears what might come. But what exhausts us is not the thinking itself. It is believing that we are those thoughts. The Buddha taught, we are shaped by our thoughts. This teaching is not telling us to force the mind to stop thinking. Instead, it reminds us that thoughts are simply visitors. They come and go like passing clouds. The mind is the vast sky behind them, spacious and still. If we look deeply, we will notice a quiet light beneath all thoughts, always waiting for us to return. When a thought arises, a whisper like, I should have done better, or what if my health declines tomorrow? We do not need to push it away. We simply notice, breathe softly and smile. I see you. Then gently let it pass. An elderly man sits by the window watching the rain. A memory flickers in his eyes. He places his hand on his chest, takes a deep breath, and slowly exhales. The rain softens. Sunlight slips through the clouds. A gentle voice arises within him. Thoughts come to be seen, not to be lived inside. An elderly woman stands before a pharmacy shelf, feeling a small worry about her health. She pauses, softens her shoulders, smiles gently, and walks toward the fresh fruit instead. A soft whisper flows through her mind. I am not my worry. I am simply passing by it. When we learn to see thoughts as guests rather than truths, space opens in the heart, and in that space, peace begins its journey back to us. Teaching 2. Impermanence. Everything changes. There are moments when we find ourselves holding tightly to what once brought us happiness. An old photograph, a familiar home, someone who has passed, or the days when our body felt strong and capable. The more we fear losing, the tighter we hold. And it is this holding that brings pain. Yet in the Buddha's teachings there is a gentle and profound truth. Everything in life changes. Nothing stands still. Nothing remains forever. Our bodies change. Our relationships change. Emotions rise and fade like soft ripples across a still lake. Even the self we are today is not the same person we were years ago. The Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. See this clearly, and you will be free from suffering. When we forget this truth, we suffer. When we remember it, we learn to soften. We no longer cling or resist the natural movement of life. Instead, we quietly remind ourselves, that moment has passed. I am here. Tomorrow has not yet arrived. I am here. Yesterday may leave echoes of regret, but it has already closed. Tomorrow still sleeps like a seed beneath the soil, and the present moment, this very breath, is the only place where life truly unfolds. Imagine a morning scene. An elderly woman gently folds a wool scarf that once belonged to her beloved partner. Her hands pause, her breath softens. She smiles quietly, places the scarf into a wooden box, and opens the window to let new air flow in. She has not forgotten. She has simply loosened her hold. And in that moment, when light touches her eyes, we understand. Her heart is learning to move forward. Or picture an elderly man sitting in his garden, watching new buds form on a branch that was bare last winter. He sets his teacup down, notices the slight tremble in his hands and smiles. He knows the body changes, time changes, yet life continues to bloom. There is nothing to cling to, only moments to appreciate. When we see impermanence not as loss, but as the natural breath of life, the heart softens on its own, and from that softness, peace finds its way back to us. Teaching 3. Mindfulness, returning to the breath. Have you ever lain down on a quiet night, only to find that your mind refuses to rest? The clock ticks gently. The room is peaceful. Yet inside, there are whispers. If only I had. How will my health be? Will tomorrow be all right? In the Buddha's teachings, mindfulness is not about chasing thoughts away. Mindfulness is knowing that you are breathing, living, and present right here, right now. When the breath becomes our resting place, thoughts soften like morning mist. The Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Place your mind in the present moment. The present is our only refuge. Each breath is a doorway back home to ourselves, a place where regret has no ground and the future holds no fear. It can be this simple. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. That alone is meditation. No need to be perfect, only to be truly here. This beauty appears in the simplest moments. Morning quiet. An elderly woman pours tea. Her hands tremble slightly. The water flows in a thin stream. Steam rises softly. She pauses, watching the delicate vapor dissolve into air. Then she exhales gently, thinking nothing, forgetting nothing, simply feeling warmth across her fingertips. Or an elderly man watering his garden. A breeze touches the leaves, sunlight rests upon his silver hair. He suddenly notices his mind wandering to next week's medical checkup. He smiles, places a hand on his chest, breathes deeply, and feels the breath touch his heart. As he exhales, the worry melts into the midday light. In mindfulness, we do not escape life. We return to the place where the heart can rest, and in each breath that knows itself, peace blooms quietly, like a flower opening without sound. Teaching 4. Loving kindness for yourself. Healing the quiet voice within. There is a very quiet kind of exhaustion that many people carry throughout their lives. the tiredness that comes from blaming themselves, silent sentences echoing in the heart. I should have been better, if only I had known more back then. It is because of me that things turned out this way. Often, overthinking does not come from fear of what lies ahead, but from a longing to be forgiven for what has already passed. We judge ourselves for not being enough. We are harsher to ourselves than anyone else could ever be, and in that harshness the heart grows weary. But the Buddha gently reminds us, you deserve your own love just as much as anyone else. Compassion is not only for others, it is also for the parts of ourselves that have not yet grown, for the mistakes that taught us, and for the wounds that made us capable of empathy. Perhaps the kindest words we can whisper to our own heart are, I did the best I could with what I knew at that time. Instead of judgment, we practice speaking softly to ourselves. May I be peaceful. May I be free from fear. May I rest in gentleness. May your mind be as light as morning clouds, your heart as open as the early sun, and may each day offer you one gentle moment to return to the peaceful home within yourself. Picture a dawn morning. An elderly woman stands before the mirror, noticing the lines time has traced around her eyes. Instead of sighing, she places a hand on her heart, closes her eyes and smiles. In the quiet, a blessing blooms like a warm lotus. May I be gentle with myself. Or a peaceful afternoon. An elderly man opens an old box of letters, gazing at a family photo from years ago. A tear falls, but it is no longer from regret. He softly strokes the picture and whispers to his own heart, "Thank you for trying." Then he sets the photo down, pours hot tea, and feels the warmth move through his hands. When we know how to love ourselves, the heart softens on its own. And when the heart softens, worries dissolve like morning dew on tender leaves. Teaching 5. Letting Go. The Art of Inner Freedom. In life there are things we hold very tightly. A hurtful word, a lost opportunity, someone we once loved deeply. A quiet regret that has no clear name. We think holding on honors what mattered, yet the tighter we hold, the heavier the heart becomes, as if carrying stones inside the chest. But letting go is not forgetting. Letting go means allowing things to pass at the time they are ready. It is looking back with gratitude, and then letting everything return to its natural place. The Buddha taught, letting go is not indifference. It is freedom from attachment. It is not coldness, but the wisdom of a mind that understands each arrival has a purpose, and each departure is also part of the path. When an old thought rises again, we can gently remind ourselves, I release this thought with love. Not because we no longer care, but because we choose peace over lingering sorrow. Imagine a quiet morning. An elderly woman holds an old handkerchief once used by her husband. Memories flow through her like warm water. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and folds the cloth neatly before placing it in a drawer. Her eyes are no longer sad, only tender, filled with soft gratitude. She stands, allowing sunlight to pour into the kitchen, as if her heart has made space for light again. Or a peaceful afternoon. An elderly man walks through a park and sees the bench where he once sat with his childhood friend. A wave of emotion rises, then softens. He breathes deeply, watches the leaves change color, and continues his walk with a gentle smile, not abandoning the memory, simply not allowing the memory to hold him still. Letting go does not make us lose what is precious. Letting go keeps what is precious in its true place and keeps us in peace. When we release with love, the heart becomes light like the wind, and freedom quietly begins. Teaching 6. Stillness, peace beneath all thoughts. There are times in life when we spend years searching for answers. How do I find peace? How do I stop feeling sad? How do I stop missing, worrying, regretting? We move through memories. We reach toward hopes. We twist through layers of thought. But then, in a very quiet moment, we suddenly see peace is not found by solving every thought. Peace begins where thoughts no longer pull us away. Stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is full of clarity. Like a lake that reflects the sky only when it becomes calm, the mind reflects truth when it rests. When the mind quiets, the past becomes clear, the present becomes light, and the future no longer feels frightening. In the Buddha's teachings, stillness is a doorway to freedom. Thoughts still come, but we do not chase them. We remain within ourselves, watching thoughts drift by like clouds. No grasping, no resisting, just being. And in that presence, silence gives us the answer we were always looking for. Picture a morning scene. An elderly woman sits by the window. No planning, no remembering, simply watching sunlight pass through leaves and birdsong float in the distance. Her face is so peaceful that time itself seems to pause. It is not that she has no worries, but that her heart has grown larger than the worries themselves. Or imagine a late afternoon. An elderly man sits by a still lake. The water does not move. The breeze brushes softly across his silver hair. He gazes at the lake as if looking into his own mind, deep, quiet, needing no explanation. He takes a slow breath, and a gentle smile rises. The world around him has not changed, yet inside, a door to peace has opened wide. When we touch this stillness, we do not merely experience peace, we become peace. In the end, you are not your worries, your memories, or the thoughts that rise and fade within you. You are the one who sees them, and as long as you can see them, you are always greater than anything moving inside your mind. Overthinking is not a mistake. It is simply the heart trying to find its way back to peace. Peace does not arrive when every thought is solved. It arrives when we learn to sit beneath those thoughts, to see clearly what arises, to hold it with kindness, to release it when it is time, and to rest in the stillness that has always been within us.